Hi, this is Dwayne, and in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to teach you to play all the major chords. There's just 12 major chords, and we're going to learn all of them. Now, the reason there's only 12 major chords is there's only 12 different notes. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we go up one above that, that's the same note as that one. It's just an octave higher. So the piano is set up so that there's like 7 octaves on the keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we just learn one octave, then we've learned it all. So there's 12 notes, and on each of those notes we can build a chord. Now a major chord is made out of the root, third, and fifth of a major scale. So let's look at what a scale is. A scale comes from the Latin word la scala, which means the ladder. It's a ladder of note that runs from one C up to the next C. Here's the C scale. See, it has 8 notes. Octave, octavo, octopus. That's the C scale. And if we take the root, the bottom note, the third, 1, 2, 3, and the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and play them as a unit all at once, that's called the C major chord. That's the major chord for the key of C. Now that's easy to see on C, isn't it? Because it's all white keys. But it's not as easy to see on the other keys because there's some black keys intermingled. Okay? So let me explain to you that a major scale is always formed out of a whole step, and then a half step, followed by a whole step, whole step, whole step, and half step. What's a whole step? It always has a key in between it. That's a whole step because there's a note you can play in between it. That's a whole step because there's a note you can play in between it. That's not a half step because there's no note in there between those two notes. So that's a half step. That's a whole step, isn't it? Because there's a note in between. That's a whole step because there's a note in between. That's a whole step because there's a note in between, and that's a half step. So the formula for a major scale, and this applies to all major scales in all time, so once you know this, you'll know it for life, is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. In other words, 2 whole steps, then a half step. 3 whole steps, and then a half step. Okay? That's the formula for a major scale. Whole, half, whole, half. Okay? And the same coming down. Incidentally, we're not talking about fingering here, but I'll just show you. I only have 5 fingers, obviously, and there's 8 notes. So I can only use 3 fingers, and then I must cross my thumb under to get up to the top note. Why? Because 3 and 5 make 8, right? Okay, that's the logic of fingering. All right? So that's the formula for a major scale. So we know what it is on C, but it's not so obvious on other keys. For example, if I start on D flat, I have to go up a whole step, which is E flat, and then another whole step, which is F, and then a half step, which is G flat, whole step, which is A flat, whole step, which is B flat, whole step, which is C, and a half step is on D flat. So the major scale for the key of D flat is D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D flat. And if I take the root, the bottom note, the third, 1, 2, 3, and the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have the D flat major chord. That's the major chord for the key of D flat. Okay? Now I'm going to make it easy for you though. I'm going to teach you the 3 major chords that are all white, and they are C, F, and G. And all you need to do is memorize those. The 3 chords that are all white, the 3 major chords that are all white are the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. Okay? So now you know 1/4 of all the major chords. There's only 12 major chords. You know 3 of them, C, F, and G. Then 3 of the major chords have a black key in the middle. They are D, E, and A. Say that with me. D, E, and A. What's unique about them? They have a black key in the middle. D, E, and A. They all have a black key in the middle. Now you know half of all the 12 major chords. You know the 3 major chords that are all white, C, F, and G. And you know the 3 major chords that have a black middle note, D, Now remember that D, E, and A, because now we're going to play the flat versions of them. We're going to play D flat, E flat, and A flat. And I want you to notice something about them. It's the same three letters, D, E, and A, except they're the flats, D flat, E flat, and A flat. And instead of being white on the outside and black on the inside, they're just the opposite. They're black on the outside with a white on the inside. They're kind of like Oreo cookies. There's a D flat Oreo cookie because it's black on the outside, white on the inside. E flat Oreo cookie because it's black on the outside, white on the inside. And A flat, again, black on the outside, white on the inside. Now you know 3/4 of the major chords already. What were the first three that were all white? C, F, and G. What were the three that have a black note on the inside? D flat, E flat, and A flat. Now D, E, and A have cousins called D flat, which are like Oreo cookies, E flat, and A flat. That's 9 out of the 12. We only have 3 left. Let's learn those 9 a little better though. Which are all white? C, F, and G. Which have a black third? D, E, and A. Which have a white third with black on the outside? D flat, E flat, A flat. Now, you at home, what you should do is play those rapidly as you can. Just play them over and over. C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat. C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat. And of course you can do it with the left hand. C, F, G. Remember this octave is just like that octave. So same notes. D flat, C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat. I could play them hands together, couldn't I? C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat. Now you know 9 out of the 12 major chords. There's only 3 left, and one is super easy because it's all black. G flat. It's all black. No white keys in it. Okay? So that's real easy. That leaves 2, B and B flat. B is white, black, black. And B flat is black, white, white. They're mirror images too. White, black, black is B, and B flat is black, white, white. Okay? So now you know all 12 major chords. Let's take them in order. C, F, and G were all white. D, E, and A have a black third. D flat, E flat, and A flat are black on the outside, white on the inside, like Oreo cookies. One chord is all black, it's G flat, and then there's 2 that are mirror images, B, which is white, black, black, and B flat, which is black, white, white. Now I'm going to play them all 12 through slowly. C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat, G flat, B flat. I can do it on the left hand. C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat, G flat, B flat. I can play it hands together, and I hope you will too. C, F, G, D, E, A, D flat, E flat, A flat, G flat, B flat. By the way, you can use the fingers that are most comfortable for you, but try to keep your fingers in a kind of a curved parachute position, like a parachute came down and landed on the key. You don't want to play with flat fingers, that makes it real slow. So you can play faster if you keep your fingers curved. And I like to use 1, 3, and 5, every other finger. There's some that are a little more awkward, like the B chord, you might want to use 1, 2, and 4. That's fine, whatever works, or 1, 3, and 5 is okay. Okay. Now, a chord is a chord, so that means the C chord is a chord whether I play it here, or there, or down there, or up here, or up there. In other words, I could play it all the way up and down the keyboard, couldn't I? All the notes of the C chord are C, E, and G, and they're repeated over and over again through those 7 different octaves. Okay. So the same thing is true of the D chord. I can play it all over the place. Also, I can turn chords upside down. Watch the C chord. If I take the bottom note C and put it on the top, it's still the C chord. It doesn't change into some other chord. It's like if I turned to you and stood you on your head, you'd still be the same person. You wouldn't change. You wouldn't be a different person. Okay, you'd just be you upside down. And so I can turn the chord upside down again and play what's called the second inversion. Every time I turn a chord upside down, it's called an inversion. So that's the root position of the C chord, the first inversion of the C chord, the second inversion of the C chord, and now we're back to the root. So I could play root, first, second, root, first, second, root, first, second, root, first, second, till the cows come home and I can come back down, couldn't I? I could also break the chord up. Instead of playing it as a block, I could play broken chords, which are called arpeggios. C, E, G, tuck my thumb under, C, E, G, tuck my thumb under, C, E, G. And then I can come down, G, E, C, roll my hand over, G, E, C, G, E, C, G, E, C. I could do that with two hands, couldn't I? Or I could go like this. In other words, just replace a hand. There's lots of things I could do. I could go. I could play both hands. That's all the C chord. That's the D chord, and so on. I could play all the chords that way. Now, once you know the major chords, you really have it made because you know all 12 major chords, and then to play minor chords, diminished chords, or augmented chords, or sixth chords, or seventh chords, or major chords, or ninth chords, or 11th chords, or 13th chords. It's just a matter of adding one note or changing one note, okay? Or two notes at a time sometimes. So it's very, very simple, but the first step is to master all 12 chords. So let's do it one more, and then we're done, okay? C, F, G. Those are the major chords that are all white. The major chords that have the black third are D, E, and A. The major chords that are like Oreo cookies are D flat, E flat, and A flat. The major chord that's all black is G flat, and then the two mirror images are B and B flat. Okay, now you go to it and play those chords over and over again. Use them in both hands. Break them up and down the keyboards. Turn them upside down in inversions. Do whatever you want to do, but get really well acquainted with those 12 chords because they're the basis for all your future learning in chords. So thanks for being with me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.